1 minute too early.
Good evening, Carlos.
Hey, Justin. How was it going? Were you gonna... We didn't even talk about trying to log or anything, huh?
If you have NetLogger open, I'm all set up. It's called the 2
Hey, welcome everyone.
Anti-Net.
We're just warming up here. About a minute or two, we'll be kicking off the anti-net, TechNet. Welcome. If it's your first time, you'll see there on the screen, there is an EchoLink.
All right, let me get it open here.
Feel free to join us.
And it's open on the 2 Meter Crew anti-net. What do I need to set up to give you access to that?
Oh, yeah, you've got one set up too, don't you? If you go and look, I have one set right now. I'm trying to think of how you connect. Stand by.
We're trying something called NetLogger
Go ahead
tonight.
and log. I'll play with it here in a sec because it is time to get the net started. 6 CRP. I'll be tonight's coordinator for the 2 Meter Crew anti-net. I'd like to thank the owners and supporters of the W6 VVR repeater and the Back Valley Radio Club for letting us use this repeater for the anti-net. If there's priority traffic at any time, let us know and we'll clear the frequency. Is there any priority traffic at this time? The 2 Meter Crew is not an actual club. We're hams that are learning, enjoying all things ham related. There are no dues or fees to be a 2 Meter Crew member. For more info, you can log in to the website, number 2metercrew.com. That's the number 2metercrew.com. Or visit our Facebook site at the number 2MC. And find a little more out about what the crew's doing. This is an open net, and everyone's welcome. Please feel free to join in. The 2 Meter Crew anti-net meets every Wednesday at 7 on the W6 VVR repeater. 145.470, negative offset of 600 kilohertz. And a PL of 127.3 hertz. I'm now going to take check-ins. Please come one at a time with your call sign and name. Give me a minute to confirm, make sure I get it right before I take the next check-in. All right, who's checking in?
Good evening, Carlos of the net. This is Dan, Kilo Foxtrot 6, Hotel in Woodland.
All right, Dan, thanks. And I should clarify, I'll take analog and radio first, and then I'll go to the AllStar and EchoLink modes towards the end, so I can give them a little more time to get on. Who's checking in next?
EM6WNU, Steve Clearlake.
Hey, Steve. How are you doing? And I saw your post earlier about doing some single sideband. Probably talk some folks into it here on the net, and afterward, you guys could have at it. Who's checking in next?
K6 CWS.
Yeah, I'm gonna shut this radio off and go over to the sideband on the Bozo net. But anyway, thanks for doing the net, KM6WNU.
All right, Steve, you have a good one. And Cliff, I got you. Thanks for checking in. Who's next? Station, you were down in the noise pretty good. I couldn't make that one out, so maybe move around a little bit, see if we can get a better position. Who's checking in next?
KI6UJH, Doug in Antioch.
KI6UGH, Doug, I gotcha. Who's checking in next?
KM6FAK, Jason, Vacaville.
Good evening, Jason. How are you today?
Yeah, doing great. We are live, so say hello.
Hello, live. And who's checking in next?
KM6TAX.
Taxman, how are you doing? Who's checking in next?
KM6Z, hi room.
Station got KM6 and Z. I didn't get the rest. Can you come again, please?
KM6TMZ, Dave in Walnut Creek here. Hey guys.
There you are, Dave. Gotcha. TMZ. And good evening. Who's next?
KM6ZTH.
Justin. The guy trying to use NetLogger today. We're kind of experimenting a little bit with that. See if we can get it working, and you may be able to in the future log on and log yourself in so we can kind of online see who's there. Hope it's working out good there, Justin. We'll talk about that in a second. Who's checking in next? Yeah, I just got noise. Station, you want to try again, move around a little bit? Right now, you're not making it. Maybe try a little later if you get in a better spot. Who else is checking in?
WG5EK, Mike in Vacaville.
Good evening, Mike. Who else is checking in?
WV6WIF, the other Mike in Vacaville.
Was that a Baker, WB6WIF?
Yeah, Whiskey Bravo 6, Whiskey Yankee Foxtrot.
I'm learning the call signs here little by little. How you doing, Mike? Who else is checking in?
WV6LEE, Joshua, Concord.
Joshua, good evening. Who else is checking in?
KM6SRX, Will in Vacaville.
I got a KM6 SRX. Who else is checking in?
KM6 GWO, Corey, Vacaville.
KM6 GWO, Corey, good evening. Who else is checking in?
KN6BAL, Nick and Everett.
Hey, Nick, good to hear from you. We'll keep on moving through. Who else is checking in tonight?
KE0UNV, Chillicothe, Missouri.
Hey, that was Missouri. Was it a KN0UNV?
Kilo Echo 0, Uniform November Victor.
Gotcha that time. Thank you for checking in. And go ahead and yeah, EchoLink and AllStar is fine. Who's next checking in?
KN6GTT, Phil in Fairfield.
Good evening, Phil. Who's checking in next?
KK6RQD, Ed in Merlin, Oregon.
Hey, good evening, Ed. Just want to make sure I got that right. KK6RTD.
There's a big double that last time, Carlos.
Thanks for letting me know. I was just double checking, Ed, was that KK6RTD?
Kilo 6 Romeo Quebec Delta.
Thank you, RQD, gotcha. Who's checking in next?
Good evening, Carlos. Good evening to all from the not-so-great state of California and tucked up high in the hills in the county of Marin. My name is Mitch, WUNQ. Good evening to all, and hello all anti-net and everybody out there in the world. Good evening.
Hey, good evening, Mitch. Good to hear you. Who else is checking in?
Good evening, N6VLF in Fairfield.
El Presidente. Good evening. Who else is checking in?
KN6HYD, Mike in Concord.
Hey, Mike. I'm glad you made it here. Welcome to the net, and congrats on your recent license. KN6HYD, welcome aboard. Who's checking in next? Okay, one more try. EchoLink, AllStar, Analog. Who else is checking in?
Kilo Golf 5, Tango, Oscar, November, Tony in Abbeville, Louisiana, no traffic, good evening.
We had a little bit of a double there, but I think I got Kilo Golf 5, Tango, Oscar, November. Is that correct?
Sorry for the double, yes, that's correct. KG5TON, Tony, Abbeville, Louisiana, no traffic.
Hey, Tony, welcome aboard. Thanks for checking in. And go ahead, was that you, Rodney, in the background?
Yes, it was me. Now I'm deaf to be in.
All right, Rod, gotcha. W6PKJ. And who's next? Any others to check in? All right, we'll swing back around in a few minutes. So for the 2-meter crew anti-net, we usually go through and do a check on the different websites we use. So Rodney, any updates or interesting notes from the website? Go ahead, WA6PKJ. Okay, maybe we lost him. Facebook seems to have been pretty active. I didn't hear Derek out there to update us either, but lots of YouTube and info out there. I did ask last anti-net, if folks have ideas for topics or something they want to cover, or if you got something interesting you want to share with the group, let me know. Post it up there. I do try to page through it every now and then and look at it, and we'll get it up here on the anti-net. How about any other DXing reports or anything planned?
I'm back, Carlos. I grabbed the wrong mic.
Well, the guys over on 3.3 probably got a good update on the website then. Yeah, you want to give give us an update, anything new or interesting on the web?
Yeah, not. One thing I noticed, we're featuring Jason channel on the website, and he's got a new offering about cheap SDR receivers. So if anybody good information off that.
Wonder why he's cutting out.
That's really about it. One thing I was maybe wanting to let other people know, if they've never been to it, the Valley of the Moon Radio Club is going to have their big annual swap meet the third, I believe it's the third Saturday of April. So if anybody's interested in that, we're going to have the exact time and date posted up there as soon as we find out. But it's a good one. I was there last year. A lot of good people. Got it. WA6 PKJ.
All right, thanks, Rod. And I didn't hear of any other DXing reports or anybody else getting out long distance. But for our 2-meter crew planned events, we did do breakfast last Sunday, and it was pretty nice. We did it at Benicia Grill over in Benicia, a real nice location. Set up the back room for us. There was quite a few of us showed up, even some XYLs and kids and grandkids, and it looked like everybody had a pretty good time. So I enjoy doing those. We'll keep that up every once in a while, putting together a 2-meter crew breakfast. The other event is still the Loomis swap meet coming up on the 21st of March. And I think that's about all I saw up on the calendar. Anybody else have other stuff to add or any questions about that?
I just like to keep saying field day. Field days in June, 27, 28.
Yep, that is right. And we should get that up on the calendar on the website there. Maybe send an email or something in with the specifics, and I'll make sure it gets on there. Or it's probably on the BBR Club website, isn't it? All right. So field day coming up. Pay attention for that one. Jason, any comments or anything coming from your online live streaming?
Well, people are saying hello to us. Not everyone is jumping in, so that's kind of just fine. So we don't have too long of a check-in section, but it's always fun to hear people out there. I'm also experimenting with this NetLogger. I downloaded that while everyone was talking, and I'm kind of trying to, I mean, this is my first time looking at it, so Justin, KM6ZTH, thank you very much, is in the background. There's now 3 of us running this, and he's in the background putting everyone's call in there, so that's kind of a way cool tool. Another thing you may or may not notice is I have a new high-pass filter. I'm trying to kill the PL tone that often, is pretty much on all repeaters, but it really was passing through YouTube. I think especially because YouTube, can handle better audio. A lot of our radios, we don't even notice that. And here in a little bit, I'll turn a knob while other people are talking, so you can kind of hear me take off the high pass filter. It's kind of interesting, but I got a thing about dongles here, so kick it back to me eventually. I've been trying to do some experiments, and I haven't been that successful. So maybe some people out there watching have some tips or tricks for me on how to get audio out of a Bofang. So back to you, Carlos. KM6FAK.
That sounds good. Yeah, I didn't get much else for topics, so we'll kick that around for a while. Okay, any other late check-ins? circle back through everybody. Just let us know what's new, what you want to share with the group, or what you've been up to. KF6, HHH Dan, how are you doing?
You're in a 49er hat.
Good evening, Carlos and Ned. This is Dan, KF6HHH. Doing okay, not much going on. Monitoring the alternate frequency when I'm out on the road, the 330. Lots of fun on that channel. Only other thing that's going on is, if it's okay to announce it, on the 15th, Sunday the 15th, is a bike race that they're looking for operators to assist with. You can find that on the YARS, YOLO Amateur Radio Society page, in case anybody likes doing that stuff. And that's about it. KF6HHH.
All right, and thanks for letting us know. Yeah, this is absolutely fine. Announce whatever different clubs are doing. It's the anti-net. We can do whatever we want. And what was the name of that club again to check in with?
It's the YOLO Amateur Radio Society. It's under YARS, Y-A-R-S, and should come right up. I also think it might be under the Yolo County Aries website.
All right, everybody copy that. YOLO Amateur Radio Society. If you're interested in helping with a bike race coming up. KM6, WNU Steve. K6, CWS Cliff.
No traffic, and thanks, Carlos, for doing the net.
Thanks, Cliff. KI6EGH, Doug.
Yeah, Carlos, thank you. I went to the breakfast, and I really enjoyed myself. It was a great gathering, a lot of fun. It was good to meet some people and reconnect with folks that I met out at the Winterfield Day. Afterwards, I went and did a Park on the Air activation at Benicia State Recreation Area, and that's a really good location for field portable ops, and it turned out it was a great day. Band-wise, I made about 84 contacts across the U.S. No DX. Well, I guess Hawaii counts as a DX. Yeah, all in all, a great day, and a great location for field.
Little weak signal, Doug.
Yeah, that sounded like a pretty good time, Doug. I couldn't believe the amount of action or attention you got there. Pretty cool. I don't know how you stood and worked that many folks that quick. Let's see. KM6F8K, Mr. Jason, just for a regular check-in. Anything new with you?
No, I kind of summed up all the new stuff, but bring it back to me for some dongle talk.
And Jason may be tied up.
Oh.
We'll swing back. KM6TAX Ted.
Oh, he's talking.
Yeah, you know, Carlos, you got to push this. You got to push this PTT. I forget. I'm here talking to myself in the garage. What else is new? Thanks, Ted. Yeah, kick it back to me. We'll talk about dongles and keep it PG-13. KM6FAK.
Sounds good. Go ahead, Ted.
I'll check that. Too many things.
KM6TAX. Nothing really to report. I'm going to be doing a little sideband action here shortly. Maybe do a little listening in on the Bozo net, but we'll see. So you guys have a good one. KM6TAX, I'll be clear.
All right, Ted, have a good one. KM6TMZ, Dave.
Hey guys, I don't really have too much to add here. I gotta go clean the house and pick up my wife, so I just wanted to participate in this for once.
Don't sound so bummed out, Dave.
And yeah, have a good night.
Yeah, no problem. Keep our traffic signals lined up out here. And KM6ZTH, Justin.
Going back a second,
this
was
job. I'm watching,
Doug's
the
activation.
data logger, and I think it may help.
I'm too slow to pull this stuff up.
Maybe nice if we have a column where I can check off the folks I've circled back to already. But looks good. What's new with you?
He's got the same problem I do.
Okay, M6ZTH may be busy logging, not listening too close. WG5EEK Mike, how's it going?
Carlos, hey Antinet. So the only thing that I've really done this week is working on moving my AllStar node antenna up higher. It was sitting about 3 feet off the ground. Now it's about 12 feet off the ground. My plan is to get it on my roof. Hopefully by the end of the week I've got some connectors on order. I got some coax sitting in my garage ready to go. So that'll be up high. So if anybody wants to play RF later in the week or later and don't want to be, maybe they don't have their own node, they just want to try it out, they can, in their local, I'd be happy to give them the frequency and PL, and we can take it off the repeater and have some fun. WG5EEK.
Thanks, Mike. And I think I heard earlier you said you got some hard wiring done versus using the Wi-Fi. Is that making a difference there?
Well, yeah, so I hope so. So this past week I punched a hole through my house into my garage, ran an Ethernet cable out to the node,
attaboy,
and hardwired it all in. So hopefully people are having a better connection with the EchoLink and AllStar, and if I can get some feedback on that, that'd be great.
Oh, that sounds like what Kevin was threatening to do to my house here, to get a camera out here or something, drilling holes and pulling cables. WB6, WYF, the other Mike, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. Good evening, everybody. Nothing much this week other than I finally got the digital modes working on one of my 2 computers. The Windows machine works, the Linux machine sucks. Other than that, have a good week, everybody. Try to make the next breakfast.
Sounds good. W6LEE, Joshua.
Hey, good evening. Thanks, Carlos. No traffic. It's been a pretty good week. Busy, but no, that's it.
Antenna is nice and high in the air.
As my wife will let it.
All right, KM6 SRX.
I hear that.
Hey, nothing too serious. I got a crossband repeater kind of going in the garage right now. About 2/3 to 3/4 done with my tower, and just trying to listen in for a couple minutes.
Sounds good. Everybody's getting stuff done on their shacks except for me. I seem to be busy running in circles here. KM6 GWO Corey.
Hey, Carlos. Hey, thanks for doing the net. Nope, nothing going on here. I think I'm like idling too, trying to get stuff done. But nothing else to put in. Thanks again, 73. We're clear.
Yeah, sometimes that's good. If it's no catastrophes, you can just idle for a while. And where was I here? KM6 DAL. Nick from up north.
Hey, thanks, Carlos, for hosting the net. Yeah, I'm deep in the shack right now. I'm soldering a bunch of components together to try to make a homemade USB radio interface for my AllStar node. That's the last piece of the pie here. I have a USB RIM or RIM light that's coming in, but it's kind of back ordered. He's in the middle of making a batch of them right now, and so I'm just kind of trying my hand at making one myself, and got the Raspberry Pi all set up. I was taking notes when we were talking about it the last few nets or anti-nets, and I'm just trying to make it work. But Mike, the EchoLink seems to be working real well tonight, and yeah, so thanks everybody for coming in. I didn't get a count. Did you check and see by chance how many people we had that checked in? But other than that, that's all I got. KN6DAL.
20 or so?
We're at 22 right now for check-ins, and yeah, that's good. I've been seeing your posts, getting your station all dialed in up there. Looks good. KE0UNV from Missouri. All right, giving it a minute for the EchoLink. Let's go to KN6GTT, Phil.
Over here in Fairfield, just trying to, I just recently got my general license on February 1st, so trying to get together stuff for HF. I've ordered a in-fed dipole that I got coming in from Palomar Engineering. So once I get that, then I've got to decide what kind of HF I need.
It's a never-ending rabbit hole. You just keep going and going, but it's all fun. I know I started out with one radio and went to the HF, and now I seem to have radios everywhere, but it's all good. KK6 RQD, Ed.
So I'm thinking of getting, I guess what they call a ham in a shack, Yaesu FT-991A.
Oh yeah, great radio.
There's a few folks out here, I believe, that are running that, and probably have pretty good input on that radio. Anybody running that 991?
That's what you're staring at on YouTube right now if you're watching. KM6FAK.
I was trying to find it. Where are you at on YouTube?
Oh, okay, yeah. The channel's called Ham Radio TV. No, I've not got into any kind of slow scan, but I like to say it's where you can come watch ham radio. So yeah, Ham Radio TV. I think you should see a live video or something of that nature, a red dot, something that says live, and that's where we are. And I'm flipping around trying to show photos and what have you, but I'm kind of slow. I need to know what people are going to say about a minute beforehand. But anyways, that's what's happening.
When I go to youtube.com, if I type in Ham Radio TV in the search box, will it bring it up, K7CD?
That is a great question, TJ, and most likely yes.
Yes, it does.
All right.
Jason, I need to remember, or you need to remember to put that out when you check in. When we start the net, let folks know where you're streaming from as a reminder. But thank you,
Good
sir.
call.
We are up to WU1Q. Mitch.
Well, good evening, Carlos. Good evening, everybody. And Carlos, thank you for doing the net. And good evening to all. Regardless of where you are, it's really good to hear everybody check in, and I'm sure that there's a boatload of people out there just contemplating on whether or not they should check in or what, or if you're having some configuration issues with getting onto EchoLink or any of the AllStar nodes or whatever configurations get you onto this wild and crazy net with the 2-meter crew and Jason and Mike, and of course our fearless leader, Mr. Carlos, heading the net. Once again, thank you, Mr. Carlos. And don't forget, Mr. Rod does the internet web page and all that good stuff. Yeah, I highly recommend. What I'd really like to hear, Mr. Carlos, is a little more about what Nick is doing and what's in that interesting box. If you go to this station, if you go to YouTube, and you go to Ham Radio TV, Jason, producer, the talent, whatever the heck it is going on over there, he's been flashing up on his screen a bunch of pictures of what Nick just got. I'm not sure, maybe a couple days ago, but he sure's got a bunch of cool goodies. I suspect that Jason will give you all a snapshot of what Nick got in that box. And the reason for me mentioning this is because I really want to hear a little more about what Nick's doing with all that, because that sounds really, really interesting. all that newfangled digital satellite stuff. Really curious and what do they call that? Curiosity killed the cat. Anyway, got to know what's in that box and what the heck Nick's really doing with it, and he don't really get into depth. Anyway, Carlos, as usual, I'm a motor mouth. I don't have a whole lot to say other than puking. So back to you, sir, and good evening to everybody, and I encourage you, again, to go to the 2 Meter Crew website, and the other is to go check out Ham Radio TV on YouTube. And, hey, everybody, welcome and good evening. Again, my name's Mitch. My call sign is WU1Q, and I am now shut up, and back to you, Carlos.
All right, Mitch, thanks. KM6DAL, you want to enlighten us a little bit about the black box you're building?
Sure, I can give it a stab. This is Nick, KN6DAL in Everett. So basically what I'm doing is I'm kind of piggybacking off of some ideas that I heard about on the Antinet related to AllStar. And it's basically a digital mode. And the funny thing is that when I started venturing into the hobby of ham radio, and we'll call it a lifestyle. When I ventured into the lifestyle of ham radio, I was completely analog, and I was dead set on, I wasn't interested in digital modes, and then I moved so far away from everybody down there that I found a resource that could possibly help me connect even better than EchoLink does. And so I listened to the things that Kevin and
That's our breakfast,
Mike
by the way.
had to say at a couple of our Antinets, and I've been watching YouTube videos and researching online, and so I started rounding up all of the parts that I needed, and I didn't really know anything about it, but essentially what it is you buy a miniature computer called Raspberry Pi. It operates an open source software that you can download online, and then you hook up an interface which connects your radio to the computer. And then after you've connected it, basically you need those three things: a computer, an interface, and a radio. And once you've connected all those three things, you do a little bit of programming, and you can essentially make that what's called a node now connect to anywhere in the world that has other nodes. And so one of the nodes that is being used right now is the one that we're all kind of linking through EchoLink to talk on. And so I found it really interesting, and so I just kind of started diving in, and now I'm sort of at the end of it, I think, unless I run into problems. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's essentially what I've done. So I'm by no means an expert. I'm still on the learning end of it, but it's exciting to kind of try new things that are outside of my wheelhouse. And I posted a picture there on Facebook that kind of shows what I'm doing tonight, which is just taking some components to help make that USB interface for the radio. So that's about all I got. KN6DAL, back to you, Carlos.
Sounds good. Thanks for the update. And we'll move over to El Presidente, N6BLF, Kevin.
Well, good evening, Carlos and Annette. Hope I'm getting in okay. My suggestion tonight, we might chat a little bit later, if you like, is how big of a power supply do I really need to operate my 50-watt ham radio?
There's the
For
PL
example,
tone.
Your 8800, your 8900, your 50 watt. I'm just pick 50 watts because most of them put out somewhere between 35 and 50 watts on high power. So we'll go with that. How big a power supply do I really need to buy if that's all I need to do? That's just my thought for tonight. Over.
Sounds like a good topic. Thank you, sir. And KN6 HYD, Mike.
Oh, hey, Carlos. I don't really have anything to add, but thanks for doing this whole thing. I'm just listening and learning right now.
Now, Mike, when did you get your license, actually? Was that just earlier this week when I first heard you?
Yeah, this past Monday I got assigned my call sign. I actually passed the test about maybe 10 days before that.
Nice job. Congrats.
And very cool. I think I was one of his first contacts as he checked in, but excellent. Enjoy having you aboard. I'm glad you made it to the Anti-Net, and glad to have you participating. All right, KG5 TON, Tony.
Good evening to the net. I first wanted to say thanks to WG5EEK Mike for that presentation on SDR the other day on Jason's channel. That was really informative, and he explained that subject really well. I hope to do some testing with that in the near future, but other than that, I just wanted to say, Carlos, thanks for calling the net, and y'all have a good evening. KG5 TON, Tony in Louisiana.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks for checking in, Tony. And yeah, there's some pretty sharp dudes that hang out around here way beyond me, but I like when they break it down and explain it down at my level where I can see what they're doing. But yeah, Mike has done a lot of work with that. And WA6, PKJ, Rod.
Carlos, not too much going on, Kelly. One thing I wanted to do is respond to the other gentleman's question about power supplies. If you're just plan to just be running 50-watt radios, you don't need anything much more than like a 12-amp Astron power supply. And that'll give you plenty of overhead to drive a 50-watt radio. But one thing to think about is your future. So if you ever have a thought that you might be running radios with more output on either UHF or VHF, 2 meters, etc., like if you wanted to get into HF and you wanted to run 100 watts, then you need something more around like a 25-amp power supply. So that's that. Myself, I've been doing some experiments with W6LEE, trying to work 2-meter sideband and 2-meter FM simplex across a pretty rough path. So we've been playing around with different Yagis and different high-quality preamps, trying to make a connection, and we're getting close, but we're not quite there yet. And then the other thing I'm doing that might be of interest, broader interest to people, is I know a lot of people have radios that have detachable faceplates, and quite often they want to put the faceplate a fair distance away from the radio. And I had a need to put my faceplate about 60 feet away from the radio, and I went up and looked at the offerings from the manufacturer, and they wanted $80 for a 16-foot cable. So I started thinking about it, and I realized it's just basically cable that's very similar to CAT cable that they use for computer connections. So I'm experimenting with a 65-foot piece of Cat 8, which is double shielded, and I'm going to see how that works. And I got it for about $25, so that's coming up here real quick for me, so I can operate my HF radio outside, a ways away from my shack. That's about it. Thanks, Carlos, WA6PKJ.
Oh, sounds good. Thank you for all that. And I see somebody else punched in the log sheet here. N6 SMH.
N6 SMH is here. Not a lot of traffic, not a lot going on the ham radio side. I spent some of my free time doing taxes, So not very fun, but something that must happen, and maybe some of that money I can redirect towards ham radio. So we'll see how much that refund is. But anyways, not a lot of big projects that I can share tonight, but it's great listening to everybody, and I'll leave it there. N6SMH, Scott out in Roseville.
All right, thanks, Scott. And TJ, I heard you out there, K7CD. What are you up to?
Good evening, Carlos and Annette. Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate you remembering me. I'm a late check-in, busy day, and I just jumped in the vehicle a few minutes ago and heard you guys in the middle of the net. Busy day, but I did accomplish a ham radio related project that's actually been 2 years in the making. I had to put it on hold because of HOA Nazis and whatnot, so there's a nosebleed. Anyways, a good friend of mine let me access his commercial shop, and what I did is I upgraded all of the battery cables to 100% oxygen-free copper, several gauges larger than what came from the factory, from the auto manufacturer. And that's something I needed to be done that was preventing me from putting a new battery in. So I was also able to put in a long planned overdue top-of-the-line commercial-grade battery. So now the power system, the grid, if you will, the infrastructure, electrical infrastructure in the automobile is upgraded, and now the sky's the limit for future comm gear. So real happy about that. And question, Carlos, please. I heard somebody mention something about a 2 Meter Crew website. What is the URL and how to get to that website, please?
It is the number 2 Meter Crew, all one word, .com.
Thank you. I appreciate the information, and thanks for running the net, Carlos. We appreciate your contributions always, and thanks for everybody else checking in. Everybody contributes to the net, and it's always fun and enjoyable to check in. So 7-3 to everybody, and back to net. Thank you, Carlos. K7CD.
Yeah, TJ. Thanks for checking in. Any other late check-ins?
KN6ETB.
KN6GTB.
Echo Tango.
Coronavirus.
Oh man, I'm having a hard time. I got Echo Tango, but not the last one. Come again.
Echo Tango Bravo.
ETB. Hey, good evening. You got anything to share with the net?
Let's see, I just picked me up a used Kenwood TS-40. That should be here next week, and then I'm in the middle of trying to build me a portable antenna, sort of, for a flagpole, or at least a for my RV, making a semi-octopus antenna / inverted V dipole.
Sounds good, Kellen. Yeah, I'm itching to get another trailer myself. As I get closer to retiring, I think I might want to do that for a little bit, and I've been thinking about the same thing. What would a portable unit look like there? So, very cool. Anything else?
No, that's the only thing that's been going on as far as ham radio goes in my life.
All right, thanks for checking in. Anybody else checking in?
Kilo 6, Tango, Victor Tango, visitor.
We're all visitors here.
And 6, TBT. Yeah, no visitors, no clubs. Anybody's welcome to check in. Any updates for the net here?
No, in fact, I just now turned it on 2 minutes ago. What is the net?
It is the 2 Meter Crew anti-net. So it's just started out with a handful of young hams and a couple older Elmers helping us out, get started. The group seems to be pretty active. We do breakfast and some mountain topping and DXing and horsing around and just learning ham. So we picked one night a week. We all kind of got on the air and just rag chew, and somebody will usually come up with a good topic, teach a little bit. And we have a person that live streams this, so it's up on YouTube live streaming, and a Facebook site and a website now. So It's been fun. I've learned a ton.
Kind of sounds like a club, Carlos.
It's pretty active, enjoyable, good stuff going on. But I appreciate you checking in. Let me know if you need any of the websites or anything.
Thank you. I've heard the DVR net here, and I thought that's what it was, but this is a different net. Thank you for coming back to me, K6TVT.
Yep, the DVR Radio Club is gracious enough to let us do this on their repeater, so all good. Anybody else checking in?
Donkey. Or your donkey.
Romeo, Quebec, Delta. N6RDX.
Go ahead.
It's KK6RQD up in Merlin, Oregon. I got skipped back there a little ways back, but just wanted to let you know, and some of the folks down there have been cutting a lot of trees and burning a lot of trees, and working on a polyphaser box for my new tower install. Various types of polyphasers for lightning protection up here in the great woods we live in, and studying for my extra.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, and staying busy and up there in beautiful Oregon. Yeah, I think I called you. I think we just missed each other there. But yeah, definitely remind me if I pass anybody up and give me a shout. And thanks for checking in. Anybody else checking in?
WH6GHN, Brandon, Honolulu.
Brandon, thank you for checking in from beautiful Honolulu. What are you up to?
Oh, not much. Just coming through on my friend Mike's EchoLink. Just thought I'd pop in and say hi.
Yeah, Mike's done a good job with it. Definitely pretty cool, all the setup they've done over there on that repeater. He hardwired in, dropped the Wi-Fi, put some hardwire in, and was asking for any feedback. Does it seem a little cleaner connection tonight or faster?
Well, on my end, coming through EchoLink, most of you guys sound like you're underwater. So it's pretty difficult to come through. It's probably the worst I've heard it.
Oh no. It's got to be Hawaii. Not us.
It's a lot of ocean that's got to come through.
It's not me, it's you.
No. All right, well, thanks for the feedback and thanks for checking in. Anybody else out there?
Hey, Carlos. We've got Ned here looking to check in, so let's leave some room. I think he's going to be coming across via EchoLink. So, Ned, if you're out there, N6RDX, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, N6RDX. Well, that's the one thing I do not like about EchoLink. I mean, everybody else sounds okay to me here. I've been listening to the whole thing. And, but everybody sounds okay. Like you said, maybe I'm going through a lot of water. I just wanted to make one kind of semi-quick comment about a ways back somebody is talking about the Yaesu FT-991A. And, you know, I bought a 7300 about a month ago, and through HRO, and HRO is pretty good about, you know, returns and that kind of thing. So I was thinking about maybe trying to exchange it, actually as of today, to bring it back and get the Yaesu FT-991A. And I talked to a friend of mine, actually, he's got repeaters over here in Carson City, you know, about the difference between the two, and he owns both of them. And he was telling me if he had his druthers, he would actually keep the 7300 and not get the Yaesu. But I like the Yaesu because of the fusion portion of it, because I want to get into fusion.
So anyway, after this big long conversation about an hour, I was going to drive to Oakland today. I decided to keep the 7300, and then I'm going to get an inexpensive that Yaesu 7250 for introduction into Fusion, and then maybe upgrade later, because there's quite a difference on the HF side between the 7300 and the 991A as far as features are concerned, the display, the waterfall, quite a few things. But I suggest to other people, before really making a decision, is to watch a lot of YouTube videos on the 7300 and the 991A and the comparisons.
Heck yeah.
Before you actually make a full decision. I'm happy with my decision, but I wish I would have known a little bit more prior to, purchasing that. But anyway, I just wanted to make that comment because I heard someone talking about that earlier in the net. And so, because I was watching it on YouTube, I don't know what happened with EchoLink. All of a sudden it said it wasn't, it couldn't find a node or something like that. But anyway, I just wanted to say hello to everybody. Good net, Carlos, thank you very much. And to WG5EEK, thanks for everything here. You're very knowledgeable, and this is an interesting net. So 7-3, everybody, and I'll be listening out here. N6RDX in Carson City.
All right, good to hear from you, Ned.
I was going to try to steal it.
Glad
He got
you
me.
Through here. I'll take any other late check-ins, and we'll give it a second here for EchoLink guys to
So I did make a video about just that topic. And Ned, I think you made a great decision. That 7300 is a fantastic HF radio.
AR0 EFR, Bert from Fairfield, no traffic, back to net.
And I think the only time you might want the 9-on-way is if you're going to go portable. You want that VHF, UHF option.
Thanks for checking in. I know that
Of course, there's Fusion. But I've heard Fusion. Go check it out. Fusion is okay sounding. Compared to this EchoLink and AllStar, that's pretty incredible. Anyways, I'm stepping all over people, but...
I'll go one time. K6FNX. I've got no traffic. Back to net.
All right, thanks for checking in. Anybody else?
Where's the green donkey?
OVH. Just listening. No traffic. Back to net.
Sorry about that.
Was that Kilo 6 OVH?
Kilo 6. Oscar Victor Hotel.
I'm sorry. There's doubling up out there still. I got the 6 OVH. I'm sorry. Can you come again one more time?
Drives me crazy.
Kilo 6. Oscar Victor Hotel. KK6 OVH.
All right. Sorry about that. I got you that time. Thanks for checking in. Anybody else checking in? All right, we'll circle back to Jason. You had something you were going to cover with us. And then we got Kevin going to do a little power supply talk. So, Jason, take it away.
All right. Well, thank you, Carlos. KM6FAK. Trying to kick a habit currently. Let me see. I think I have this other button I can push. Look, that's all of me. Trying to kick this habit, and that habit would be the Bofang here. I've got this black one. This is the 8-watter, very, very popular. I've got this yellow one with extended magazine and a Brie antenna. These are kind of fun. But anyways, doing yard work, maybe occasionally on the motorcycle, what have you, I like to listen to music. And so I also maybe want to monitor radio, but I don't want just the radio and just the music. So what's interesting about these Baofangs, and they're the same as Kenwoods, is the audio speaker is a 2.5 millimeter, where the microphone is a 3.5 millimeter or an 1/8 inch. So that would be your standard headphone, your 3.5 millimeter or 1/8 inch. So in other words, you got to go shopping. You got to go find something smaller. And Justin, KM6ZTH, recommended something like this. And I didn't have good luck with this. This is not working. It only produces sound in one ear. And for that matter, I don't know if I'm running out of hands here because I have the trigger. It doesn't like to jam itself in here, this guy here. And of course, I've also tried this. This had good reviews on Amazon. This is a dongle where it'll go into the radio, and then supposedly you can take, typical earbuds that come with, let's say, an iPhone, the older style, of course, with the standard headphone jack, and this will work. Well, it doesn't work. I've tried to plug in several different headphones, variations, and this is a mess. This makes the radio turn off and transmit, so this is garbage. I did find something that does work. This little guy, and this is kind of neat. And for those that are just on the repeater, I apologize. You'll just have to have a theater of the mind or go watch the video and check it out. Because I am holding things up here for people to see. I don't know how well you can see it. But a little 1/8 inch guy, that goes in. And then that goes to... Wait a minute, I messed up. This is the 2.5 millimeter. This is your 3.5 millimeter, otherwise known as 1/8 inch. So this will work, but you only get audio in one ear. And the idea then is to Y connect it over to my earbuds and kind of have both the repeater and the music at once, and then I can pause the music and just listen to the repeater, like mowing the grass, doing chores, like I said. So I'm curious to know what people have done or have ideas about how to get audio out of a Kenwood or these addictive Baofangs. But I'm going to be kicking the habit soon. So KM6FAK.
Thank you, Jason, and go ahead, break.
Jason, this is N6SMH live stream. You weren't showing your camera feed. It was locked onto your screencasting. Check it. Well, now we're seeing the waterfall display. But
Yeah, hey TJ, and I apologize to everyone. Too many things going on. I'll get better at this, I hope. So I'm not so much trying to get a microphone. I'm just trying to get audio out of these little HTs. And that way I can just pipe it into earbuds that I'm already playing, kind of like a Y connector. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, and I'm right there with you, Jason, because when I bought my first
So this is
HTs, I
junk.
bought two Kenwood
Doesn't
brand new
work.
HTs back in 1980. They were precedent setting for the industry, rather very compact. They just had a standard 1/8 inch female jack, which was
This is very
commonplace
tight.
for all consumer electronics, and I would
Doesn't
just plug in the legacy version of earbuds, and it worked great. However, when I bought my Yaesu HT 6 years ago, they used a non-standard, they being Yaesu, used a non-standard plug connector on the top of the HT, and it prevents you from just plugging in a standard 1/8 inch jack for earbuds.
This is the best
which has been
one.
a real irritant for me, which is one of the reasons why I don't use the HT anymore. So I don't have any input, but I echo your question to everybody on the net. Thank you, K7CD.
Jason, with your plug-in, you said one of your setups that fit, you were only getting sound out of one side, though?
Yeah, so let me pop over to my screen. So, like I said, Justin recommended this little guy, and what's pretty neat about all this is they're all just a few dollars, so fairly friendly to order and experiment from. But this guy supposedly takes a 2.5 millimeter mono and then creates a stereo 3.5, which would be the standard size. So this only makes audio in one ear, and then this only makes audio in one ear as well, and I find this is the best one. And the other one is garbage. I was trying to convey that. This one is garbage. I don't know what I'll do with it. Maybe cut it apart and try to fix it.
Alright, sounds good. Any other late check-ins before I swing over to our power supply topic? Alright, sounds good. Busy net, we've got like 32 people checked in, and it looks like our net logger is working pretty good. Justin, I appreciate you keeping that. I like being able to see folks' names and where they're at. So, pretty cool. Any comments on your side? Is it easy to log and keeping up?
Fixed my antenna and can hear everybody clearly. It's much better, and yeah, it's not too bad.
Alright, sounds good. Okay, N6, BLF, Kevin, you out there and ready for your power supply? And before you get started, I do appreciate it. Everybody kind of enjoys different topics, so I really appreciate it when, like, Jason will get up and talk about what he's working on. Nick talking about his black box and what he's putting together, and now Kevin doing this, but it's kind of how we all learn. I am definitely not an Elmer. I'm a newbie. I like running the nets, but to keep the topics going, we need suggestions or folks that want to just cover them real quick. Helps out a lot. So let me know, post it up on the web, Facebook site, or anything else. Kevin, you all ready?
Yeah, Carlos, I think so. I do have a quick question. Jason, do you have the splash I wanted you to put up in about a minute?
I'm ready. What is it?
It's the inline watt meter, the Tenergy. I texted it over to you.
Oh. All right, yeah, give me a second here.
All right, cool. While Jason's doing that, thanks, Jason, for all your help. I'm going to give, first of all, Carlos and the 2 Meter crew for putting this together. This is really awesome. It's a really fun night. And also, we're going to just chat just a moment about a simple power supply. And we're not going to get too deep. And first, I want to comment that the gentleman that chimed in earlier and gave us his opinion, he was exactly right. So that was good information. You should take it. And also, give a little plug for the Vaca Valley Radio Club. 1 week from tomorrow night, which is Thursday, the 12th at the Nutry Airport, we're going to have our club meeting. You may attend. You do not have to be a member of our club or anybody else's club. You can just come and hang out and watch, spectate, because that night is going to be back to basics. We're going to be inviting people to bring their HTs, and whether it's a Baofeng, like Jason was talking about, or any other radio, Yaesu, Kenwood, or likewise, we'll break up into groups, and we will be going over how to program repeaters, PL encode, decode, and offsets, and other things. Let me let it drop. So anyways, and also, if you've got a mobile radio and you're interested in learning about that, there will be at least 2 power supplies with 2 dummy load watt meters. We can hook those up, and you can also meet up with a an Elmer, or somebody who has a similar radio, and they'll work on it with you. So with that said, we're going to talk a little bit about power supplies, which we're going to do that on Thursday night as well. I have to let this radio drop about every 45 seconds. So the bottom line is that we've been talking, had a lot of people ask us, what power do I need to run my, I'm going to use the Yaesu, the 8900, because there's a lot of those running around the club lately. Approximately 50 watts. Like, how big a power supply do I need? Well, let's go over that real quick and get your pen and pencils out. Write this down. No hate mail, please, because this is all real general information. The numbers aren't perfect. So right off the bat, you got a 50-watt radio. So we're going to assume that your 50-watt radio puts out 50 watts, and we're going to assume for this demonstration that your power supply puts out 13.5. So let's take 50 watts and divide it by 13.5 volts, and what do you get? I'll give everybody about 10 seconds. All right, no hate mail, because I know what some of you are thinking. The answer is 3.7 amps. That's too low, isn't it? Because we all pretty much know that our two-way radios are not 100% efficient. So, if they're not 100% efficient, let's be on the safe side, and let's double it. Let's say that radio is only 50% efficient, so that means it's going to draw about 7.4 amps. So approximately 7.5 amps will get us our 50 watts out. And keep in mind, folks, we are not taking in any consideration our power supply is giving us the energy we need, the 7.5 amps at 13.5 volts. We're not going to talk about the efficiency of the power supply tonight. That is a completely different subject. So, because there's all kinds of stuff to choose from.
On FRD.
All right, we hear FRD in there. We'll be right with you. So anyways, our 50-watt radio, if it was 100% efficient, it draws 3.7 amps, but we know that's not true. So we're going to double it to a 7.4 amps and go, okay, it's going to take at least 7.4 amps to be on the safe side. And then we're going to say, well, we can't buy a 7.4 amp supply, but you can probably buy an 8 to 10 amp regulated supply that will run your 50-watt radio just fine. In addition to that, like the other gentleman pointed out earlier, what if you're going to hook it up to your 100-watt single sideband radio? Well, right off the bat, you got to double that 10 amp supply that you just purchased. You got to need a 20 amp supply, at least. And on sideband, sometimes, we'll talk about that later, and we'll do some actual measurements with some 100-watt radios and a meter, and you can take a look at it for yourself. But yeah, you're going to peak up in the 22 to 25 amp range, so you need something a little heftier, or use a battery for that. But we're talking about our honest 2-meter 440 radios that draw a maximum of 50 watts. So about a 10 to 12 amp supply will do that, which you can pick those up at the swap meets super cheap. Now, one little interesting thing, Jason, can you please put that watt for $49.99. And you can go down here and go to Amazon.com, get the same basic thing for $17 without any connectors on it. We have tested it. We do not recommend 200 amps. We have tested it up to 60 amps, and it did work quite well. After that, I don't know if it'll burn up or if it keeps going, but we took it to 60 amps. So with that, we'll just real quickly summarize. So a 10 to 12 amp power supply will run your 50 amp, or excuse me, a 10 to 12 amp regulated power supply will run your 50 watt 2-meter 440 radio, and the typical 2-meter 440 radio on high power puts out somewhere between 25 and 50 watts, so you're okay. And then that little, what's up on your screen right now, if you'll take a look at that, that's a very, very cost-effective way to measure your current and see how many watts, how many amps, and how many volts
I don't know what the difference is.
going through that wire. It's a really cool thing. Put Anderson power poles on it. Very, very cost-effective way, and you'll be able to monitor your power. Anyways, just throwing that out there. I'm going to turn it back over to Carlos. This is N6VLF
The
with
hole.
power supply thoughts.
Kevin, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was perfect. Right at my level. And good topic. Any questions, you guys?
I have a couple comments, Carlos and Kevin.
Go ahead. And what was your call sign?
It's Fred here, W1FRD, headed home from work.
There you go. I recognize the voice now. Go ahead, Fred.
Yeah, I power my mobile radio from a home use with the HP server power supply. Those are relatively cheap to buy on eBay, and it's you jumper a couple of wires on the front of it, and that thing puts out 47 amps at 12.6 volts. Works great.
Good comment.
That's a really cool idea, Fred. I didn't get into that tonight because I just wanted to talk about the simple stuff that guys can just do without modification. Fred is exactly right. There's several power supplies out there, switch mode type power supplies that will deliver much more current and can operate for very, very, very cost effectively. And we also at our club we have an actual power supply expert. It's not me, by the way. And we're going to do a demonstration here between now and the summertime of how to get one of those. We've seen them given away at swap meets. Sometimes they're $2, sometimes they're $5. But the 200 watt power supplies, and sometimes the bigger ones for computer supplies. How to convert those over to a supply for your ham radio. So there are other options. But Jason's got some digital meters up. Jason's got some digital meters up there for your viewing enjoyment. Go ahead, Carlos.
$50. Let's go back to Amazon.
Okay. Any other
$17.
On the YouTube, we had a JW4ZXT ask, so will 20 amps work for a 100 watt rig?
In many cases it will, because you're going to need to get 100 watts. You're going to need an easy 15, 16 amps. So it depends on how hard you're pushing. If it's a sideband rig and you're pushing it, you want to go 20 or higher. But if it's like an FM rig that's reasonably efficient, 16, 17 watts. But once you get to that kind of power, you've got to be concerned about your heat dissipation.
I'm going to quick key.
And we'll talk about that some other time, because when you're sitting there and you're cooking along at 40 or 50 watts, it's pretty easy for that power supply to dissipate that heat. Let that drop. But now you're up to 15, 20, 25 amps trying to drive your HF rig or your high power UHF or VHF. You really want something that's got some substance to it so it can dissipate that heat. You really don't want to take your 20 amp supply, like your Astron, your RS, your 20, and it's got what's called intermittent communication use. They have an acronym for that. I don't know what it is, but it says something like 22 or something, and I don't know the exact. Look it up, guys. Get online. Most of you guys got the internet.
So I want to quick jump in.
Use on Astron 20 amp supply. They'll give it to you, and when you look at that, you'll realize that it really is not designed to be beat on it that hard. So you might want to go to the next size up. You might want to get the 20. You might want to go to the 30, the RS30. I can tell you right now, personal experience, the Astron 30 amp supply, the one with or without the meters, handles my 100-watt radios beautiful. Anyways, hope that answers the question. N6 VLF.
Heck yeah. All right, I'm going to jump in real quick. CAM6FAK. So if you can find a power supply and it works and maybe it's cheap, for instance, I found one of these kind of like in a junk bin, if you will. It's okay. It's 23 amps. It's switching, but I threw some batteries along with it, and I run all sorts of stuff in the shack. That's all I got is a couple of these puppies that were getting tossed out and some batteries, and it seems to work okay. Now, it does say 23 amps, but like I said, I'm kind of using these batteries. You just got to make sure you turn everything off when you're not using it. You're not overcooking your batteries because that could be a problem. So probably not the most pro thing I've ever done, but it's worked for the last 3 years here in the shack. So, balling on a budget.
So the battery set acts kind of as a buffer in that situation. Is that what you guys are saying? You got a good power supply, but the batteries are picking up any surges or anything else?
Yes, that's exactly my attempts, and so far they've been successful. Kevin, do you want to talk a bit about that? I forgot to push the face button.
Well, yep, we won't go into crazy battery technology, but the bottom line is if you got a battery that's designed to float, somewhere between 13.5 and 13.8, and your power supply can handle the current to charge them, yes, those batteries, when you whip on your single sideband radio and you're cranking 100, 150 watts, the batteries are giving you that extra capacity, and then when you're not using it, your charger is bringing it back up, and the combined sources give you enough current to operate it. There's a lot of different ways to do that. There's a company called, I think I don't know, I'm sure you guys know better than I do, but it's called PowerGate. There's a PowerGate you can purchase that goes between your power supply up to your batteries, and it also will allow you to hook your solar. This silly, I'm on an HT tonight. I'm in my office at my desk using my HT. I'm a bad ham. Anyways, yeah, the PowerGate is a really good thing to use because the PowerGate, a device, you can just look that up on the internet. It's got Anderson power poles built onto it, and it will let you plug your batteries into one set, your power supply into another, your solar panels, if you have them, into another, and your load. And those things are really pretty dang cool, and there's different settings in there for different type battery chemistry. So there you go. But what Jason's doing is a very simple way of doing it, and he's floating those, I think he's got those sealed gel cell type batteries that like you use on big alarm systems, and they just kind of float, and you just make sure you look on the label, and you do what the label says. N6 VLF.
Heck yeah.
All right, well, thank you again, Kevin. And one more time, the VVRC meeting, what was the date and time for that?
our next meeting is Thursday, March 12th at 7 p.m. at the Nut Tree Airport in Vacaville. And when you pull in the airport, you kind of look straight ahead and just turn your head to the right a little bit. There's a building, two-story building there. We are in the bottom story and in the left-hand corner, and we have the meeting room, and anybody is welcome, and you're very welcome to come. And if you want to bring your HT that you just bought or had it for years, you have questions, there's be some folks there. We're going to do the thing with the mobile. Hey, if you just want to come and visit and just be moderately entertained, you're welcome to do that as well.
All right, well, thank you very much. Let's see, any last-minute check-ins or anything else for the net before we wrap up tonight? That was a pretty good anti-net, a lot of check-ins. I believe we're up to 34 folks the last time I looked. And, yeah. Fred, did you have anything else you wanted to share with the net with your late check-in?
Yeah, just the other thing, the watt meter and that they're talking about, that's kind of something that comes from the RC hobby industry, and they're available rather cheaply. And you can put your own connectors on it. They're around like $20 or something if you go to like RC hobby sites.
He's exactly right.
All right, good to know. You can look around the RC hobby websites and save a few bucks. Any other late check-ins or anything for the net?
I was just going to comment real quick, Carlos, that those different power meters that Jason's putting up on the screen, if anybody's watching, I happen to have the one from Tenergy, there's one from PowerWorks, there's the one from the RC companies, just like Fred was saying. We're going to have at least one or two of them there hooked up to the radio, and we're not doing a full power supply night, but you'll be able to see a power supply, a radio with one of these hooked up in real live, in person. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's what it is.
All right, thank you. And last chance. Any last check-ins or comments?
KI5GLT, KI5GLT checking in from El Paso, Texas. Over.
Hey, thanks for checking in. And I just caught the GLT. Can you come again slow so I can write this down?
Kilo India 5 Golf Lima Tango. And my name is Javier from El Paso, Texas. Checking in. Thank you. 73s out there.
Good to have you, Javier. See you there in the chat. Excellent.
Got it. Javier, thank you very much for checking in.
And thanks, Jay.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the net.
Yeah, I don't have
Pretty
QSL
good one,
cards
and
yet.
I do, again, appreciate folks
Need to find
sharing
a good
the info
website.
and keeping it interesting there. At that, I think I'll clear the net, but excellent job. 34 folks checking in. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Jason, any last comments from the live stream?
No, I don't think so. Stay tuned for my Bofang trials. But actually, I'm hoping this weekend I get a new reel radio. The training wheels are coming off, and I've got a small Yaesu showing up. I've got a lot of fun ideas and capture that on a future video coming up on, well, should we be buying all these Bofangs? And, I got two sitting here. That could have easily been an ICOM Yaesu Kenwood. But no, that's it. I'll just be here. Thanks so much, Carlos. Like always, you do a great job. I like doing this part, and it sounds like you like doing that part. So KM6FAK.
Yeah, I think it works out pretty good. And Justin, thank you for logging tonight. That helped out, and I did like it. We will be looking for a couple of folks that are regulars on the net to help with cover logging duties when different folks can't do it. So if you're interested in that, also get a hold of me or drop a line on the 2-meter crew, or my email's correct on QRZ. But thank you very much. Good evening. and I'm going to close the 2-meter crew anti-net. BVR, thank you very much for letting us, BVRC, for letting us use the BVR repeater. We do appreciate it. I think a lot of folks get a lot of good out of these. So, good night. This is W6CRP, closing the net.
Control, I was just curious, where are you located, please? K7CD.
Net control is located in Walnut Creek, California, and I'm sitting down pretty close to the west side of Mount Diablo, so good clean shot into the VVR repeater and the others on Mount Diablo.
Well, thank you very much for information, and thanks very much for doing the net. I really enjoyed listening to everybody check in. It's a lot of fun. 7-3, K7CD.
73, TJ.
PL tone is now passing through. Yeah, so as we just chit-chat a bit here, I'm still up for a little bit. Yeah, so Kevin said to show the PL tone. Yeah, so working with Kevin a little bit, I was able to filter that out. So it's pretty interesting. Kevin, go ahead and give me some audio so I can turn the knob.
I'll give you some audio.
I'll hold the knob down for a little bit. I heard it, man. What a difference.
So there it's off.
Can you recall what frequency you had it set on, and when you turn it back on, I would filter out a little bit more, because the audio coming through the YouTube is really, really good. Really, I liked it. It sounded really great tonight. But I am listening on a 37-inch Tannoy coaxial speaker with a DC coupled Lambrinth.
So there's the PL tone.
amplifier.
PL tone is passing through the repeater. Now it's off. I'm around 500 or so. That's what it says on the frequency, and it's a ×1. And the box kind of acted up a little bit. There's a little funny business in there. It is an older box, but it's a cool box. We'll have to talk more about that. And Ted, I heard you in there. Go ahead, Ted.
I was just joking.
See, if I go too much.
Continue your quest. I'm just playing with the new radio
and then
here.
There's about mid.
And so.
And then there it's all the way down.
Game 6TAX.
Ed, can you QSY over to K6PLU?
Sure. KM6TX QSY.
Hey, Jason, go ahead and turn it back on. And that number doesn't mean anything on that thing, on that box. Those numbers are so far off, it's almost ridiculous. But it's working.
Yeah, it seems to be the only, like I said, sometimes it won't filter it out. It takes maybe a second, maybe a minute or so, and then it grabs it. And then I had it on for an hour or two. I don't know. I just kind of let the radio go in the shack. And I came out, and there was this buzz, almost like a ground loop that was coming from it. So I was like, well, what the heck? Where'd that come from? Because it wasn't there at first. So anyways, you know, it was off all day. I was at work, and I got it going tonight. It just took a little bit for it to kind of settle itself down, but it seems to be cleaning everything up nicely. So I did have the lid off, and I did blow it out pretty good, but maybe there's something in there that needs to be tweaked. I saw there were some pots, so maybe we can turn those.
It's probably the filter cap on that supply.
Yes, I'm young.
Off on the right hand, I think it's the right hand side. There's a little divider. Anyways, we'll fix it. But it's working right now. It sounded really good. So if I hear anybody else on anyways, I guess it's back on. So I got the audio muted when I'm talking on the radio. I'll unmute it and I'll hear myself on the latency.
All right, very good.
Just a quick check, ZTH, you still out there, Justin? Destin, W6CRP.
Awesome. Very cool. Very neat tool.
No joy. Clear.
Yeah, you could probably turn it down just a little bit, the frequency, little, but it's working really good. Yeah, it's just old and dirty, and it needs some TLC. But it was proved it's a concept, you know, proof of concept.
I'll have to see if I can change that, Mike.
So you did it, man. You are the man.
Couldn't have done it without you.
FAK.
Kevin, is Jason going to give us any kind of tidbits of information about the upcoming new ham radio TV video? I'm wondering if we need 1 or 2 bags of popcorn to watch it. K7CD.
Well,
there's not enough popcorn for you, TJ.
It's not too long. It's only 20, 25 minutes or so. Mike, going over SDRs. Yeah, way cool stuff. $30. Get yourself a neat little SDR to play with. I will caution you, if you're a Mac user, good luck. I have a 2013 MacBook Pro. I updated to the latest OS a couple months ago, and I can't get it to work. I tried for a good evening, and then I said, nah. And I have an old Windows computer here out in the garage, and it comes up fine. It's the software. The software is the issue. But anyways, yeah, great video. And next I need to start working on, an AllStar video we recently shot. So kind of like an intro to AllStar. And I need to get that on the screen as well for people to check out and dial in.
TJ. Jason is very serious about this. He made me sign non-disclosure forms. I can not speak about, allude to, or mention of any sort of words in any way of what Jason may or may not be doing. The dude's serious, man. I'm telling you.
I understand perfectly, Kevin, and you know why that is. It's all Paul's fault, you know. I mean, you know, they have to pay an appearance fee to get him to show up at the Christmas dinner. Well, anyway. Hello, Paul, if you're listening. Well, thanks, Jason. I'm looking forward to it. I know we all are. And that's exciting, too. I'm glad to hear about video number 2 that's upcoming. In fact, I can't help but wonder if KK6BXP will be doing a cameo appearance.
I don't think there's enough makeup in the kit. I don't know. We'll check.
When have you had time to watch a movie and eat 2 buckets of popcorn, TJ?
I did that when I took a very rare vacation for, I think it was 4, maybe 5 days in between Christmas and New Year's. Jason's shot of
when I oh gosh. Alrighty guys, well hey, thanks so much for watching. I think we're gonna wrap this up. I try to kill this about an hour and a half in, you know, otherwise you'll just hear us talk about nothing here on the repeater. But if you do want to listen, check us out. You see the EchoLink, that stays connected. There's an AllStar node. It's in the chat. I think I have it in the comments as well. I need to get it on the screen so you guys can see the AllStar. We're also on Broadcastify, which is pretty neat. So, you know, it's always streaming, kind of recording there. But, yeah, look for us next Wednesday, 7 o'clock Pacific time out here. So my apologies going towards the mid and all the way to the east because I know it's a work night. But we just picked Wednesday, and we're kind of going with it. We're having fun. I know I need to get to bed because I wake up at 4 for my job. I commute about an hour. But, hey, thanks everyone so much. Yeah, Mike's dropping in the comment or the link there for Broadcastify, so that's way cool. But thank you guys for checking out the video. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. And also, if you want to bring up a topic and talk about stuff, I've got future stuff, ideas about bringing in some Zoom. So, like videos. I want to try to Skype, if you will, or Zoom people in, get them on the radio, and you know, just have fun with it. We're just having fun. So 7-3, Jason here, KM6FAK. Thanks for watching.